All right, ladies and gents across YouTube and TikTok, welcome guys. Hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome to another edition of the London session. It is just about time to get this little show on the road. So without further ado, guys, as always, good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening, no matter where we are around the world. Welcome to another edition of the London session, guys. Beginning of a new month, end of the financial year, start of a new financial year here for us here in Australia. So going to be interesting to see what we can come up with moving forward here today. Obviously focus more on gold, but we'll have a look at other pairs as well. Guys, if you have any questions or any chart or anything you'd like me to take a look at, please, as always, you guys know the drill, feel free to pop that into the chat and I will do so as soon as I've done the analysis here on gold and GJ. We may even look further forward, maybe even look to some of these indices, been having to think about things. Perhaps we might pick up one moving forward. Guys, let's have a look to see news, what we've got scheduled here today. Let's have a look at Forex Factory. And what we can see is, let's just refresh it quickly. As far as schedule news, there is nothing for our session here today. We do have some flash CPI or CPI for the euro later on, and moving forward into MY session, you've got a Fed chair speaking, obviously big few days ahead for the US dollar. We've also got the Bank of Japan and the Bank of England speaking at the same time, so interesting to see what comes out of that. But obviously all roads lead to the big day tomorrow. So tomorrow there is ADP and Wednesday, sorry, today is ADP. No, it is tomorrow is ADP as well as NFP, so unusual. I'm getting things confused, getting things mixed up. So it is Wednesday. NFP is Wednesday. Apologies, guys. NFP is Wednesday. No, jeez, great start to the stream, isn't it, guys? We should just start again, shouldn't we? NFP is Thursday. ADP is Wednesday. It's thrown up a little bit this week because of the bank holiday in the US on Friday. So enough of that. And let's get down to doing business. What we do best now is looking at the charts, analyzing the charts. And we'll start with, as always, we'll start with gold. And looking to begin on the weekly time frame, what we can see is we are forming a strong bullish candle on the current weekly. Obviously the weekly still has potential to come back down for dip break its own low to 3200 flat, but seeing we are at a daily support and bouncing off that level to have a high low high in the current daily candle, no low wick. Let's just mark that level in. Potentially we could have formed the lowest point of the new weekly. However, we are at a resistance here in our daily. We have tapped into it. Could be another potential point where price does form some resistance to head back down towards the low. So a little bit of a conflicting story here in the higher time frames. Counter probabilities are to the upside, but we are at resistance. The 4 hour also we can see is pretty much tapped into the resistance here to the left and remains bearish in structure. It will flip bullish upon a closure above this 3350 region. So we're still bearish. We're going to mark in the current level, seeing we are at a 4 hour resistance, and we want to see how price reacts to it. As far as support, fair way distance off the 4 hour support, so we'll worry about it on the minor time frames, marking some levels shortly. Now to the 30 and the 15 here. So the 30 is bullish. It's definitely bullish. Trying to form support just now, otherwise the most recent support formed is at this point here around at 33.14, 33.16 sort of region. We'll change that to blue. So let's quickly look at a 15. All right, similar story here in the 15 as well. We are back bullish in structure, and that won't flip until back below the same level here as the 30. All right, so we've not quite tapped into the 4 hour resistance, guys. We have tapped into a bit of resistance here to the left. So for me, what I'm going to be doing is going to be looking for one of a few options here today. I'm looking for buys above the 4 hour resistance here. If we start to close above 36.53, at that point there, we're into some pretty clean traffic up towards the high point of the 4 hour resistance. Potentially going to at that point retest the 4 hour structure, and if we close above it, we'll confirm a structure flip. So looking for closures above 33, 36.50 for some buys. Now, if we were to tap into the resistance and begin to reject, what my responsibility is to do is to look to see where we recently formed support below the resistance. And if price was to begin to pop below that support formed at resistance, there's a high probability we will come back down to the next level of support. So currently that level of support is 33.28 to 25. It is quite a deep zone. So if we do reject the 4-hour resistance and begin to pop below the support form just below it, I would look for my options to take a sell. Again, more in line with that previous weekly candle. It will be against the actual 30-minute structure, against the daily structure and daily candles, but based off the fact that it is at a higher time frame resistance, if it did reject and pop below support, likely destination is the next support, where I could potentially look for some buys from that level as well. So pretty simple game plan moving forward on gold here today. Current area, not going to buy into the resistance. Don't really have much in regards to margin. Let me just quickly check. 25 pips, not a great deal to be honest. Let's see if we can adjust this zone. If no, I don't want to. It's the 4-hour. Forget it. Not interested in selling it, buying into it, sorry. It's the 4-hour zone, so we need to be wary of that. And that is my plan moving forward here today on the gold. Let's quickly look at GJ. Not that I've really paid much attention to it of late, but we will do the analysis nonetheless. So weekly, as I mentioned yesterday, we don't necessarily need pullback to create the upper wick. At the moment, it doesn't look like we will. We've obviously closed a strong bearish candle on the previous daily. Current daily counter probabilities are to the downside. Still at support here to the left though, still bullish in structure, with the counter probabilities though being to the downside. So far, every pullback made within the current weekly candle has been met by resistance on the minor time frames to continue bearish. Onto the 4-hour here. At some pretty solid support. Just mark that in. Structurally, we are technically, where I see it, look, you could argue either way. I think yesterday I did refer to it as being bullish. And it's still, no, actually, I think yesterday I said that you could argue it's bearish. To me, it is bullish. It's not really closed above what was the high of the impulse to the upside. You've not really had a proper pullback here too. There's no 2 consecutive candles pulling back in the opposite direction to the trend. Yeah, look, I would say it's bullish as long as it remains above this gray zone. So therefore, what I'm going to be doing is marking a resistance form just above, and that's the current 4-hour range. Not a big one at all. And onto the 30-minute time frame, and that time frame to me is also technically bullish. Let me just check this out properly. Yeah, that's a little swing just there. All right, the 30's bearish. To be really technical about, 30's bearish. All right, bit of a in-between one here on GJ. Not at greatest level. It's pretty much halfway in between this current range. So for me, what I'd like to see now is price pop back down to that 197.10, form support above that point, look to buy the support, and otherwise look for price to pop up to the resistance 197.80, form resistance, and look for some sells below. Otherwise, buys above the resistance would be an option above that 198 flat, and sells below the support here as well, around that 196.950. That being said, I'm not going to pay that much attention to GJ. Just not focused much on it off late. What you want to see moving forward into London session is bullish engulfing for buys. So you are consolidating at a previous level here to the left. So now what that would require for me to trust any option leading into London or at London Open would be something like that. Now, at that point there, you're moving into some cleaner traffic here to the left-hand side as well. So off the back of that, potentially would consider some options to the upside. But anyway, that's my opinion of GJ. Make of that what you will for those who do trade it. And guys, don't forget do me a little favor, YouTube, smash the like button, TikTok, smash that screen, and let's have a good session, guys. How did the month end? Let me know, guys. Was it a good month? Me, a steady one, nothing special at all. It still ends in a profit, which is obviously that's what you want to do, end up in the blue and everything's okay. In the meantime, all right, members, let me send you guys a link before I forget. Had a good education session with you guys yesterday. Thank you to all who joined. There you go, there's a link for you too. Yeah, for you guys. YouTube. Franco, good morning to you. Carl, good morning. Disappointing key. Got the payout yesterday, so top 1 for futures is nice one. Happy to hear it, mate. Well done. Good work, my friend. Really happy to hear it. It's we want to trust the industry more. The only way to trust it is proof of payouts, and what is great to hear is that you actually were successful enough to get to the point where you had a payout. So you're doing well, my friend. Well done. Great work. Keep up with good disciplined training. But man, give it a like. Yep. Carl, Justin has lost his mind. Did he ever really have one thought? I've got about a million running through my head at one time. That's the issue. I've got to slow down sometimes. Marvin, good morning to you. TikTok, thank you to the 4 new followers and to the 40 plus of you on stream at the minute. Welcome. Let me have a look through the chat, see if I've missed anything. Opinion on DXY, Sebi, in relation to what? Trading it, or if it's in relation to gold, don't worry about it. Because I know now it's down, but for the best part of the last 10 years, they've both been up. And people always say they inversely correlate. So I don't look at the DXY to trade gold, because I just focus on the chart that I'm trading. That's XAU USD. Thoughts on DXY is it's at its lowest point. It had its worst first 6 months of a year since 1973. I heard before. They say something. Has the sell-off, is it done with? I don't think so. I mean, looking at the high time frames here, I reckon 95 is a good likely destination. Per reports, some saying it's going to come back down to that 70 odd level, around these levels, around the 80, 75, 80 level. So obviously a lot has gone into the euro being the most liquid currency pair in the world against the US dollar. And obviously the euro has been in a massive solid uptrend all year, basically. Well, since it was pretty much at parity, it's just rocket shipped up. The pound's also been very strong. The Aussie, one of the other majors, has been lagging a little bit, to my dismay. Always happens, drops harder than it pumps, but Dexter, thank you for sharing a live, appreciate it. Sorry guys, I'm just sifting through the rest of the TikTok chat. Just seeing if I've missed anything. TG, it's just broke a bullish flag. I think it will retest the flag. Okay, fair enough. I respect that. I don't trade flags and fair value gaps or anything like that. That's pretty much it from the TikTok chat. Partial off. Curious, do you ever look at trend lines? No, I don't. I sometimes mention them, but I don't use them to really add confluence or to take entries at or based on. And a lot of time the trend lines will line up with my levels, my zones here, the blue and the gray zones either way. Like they might cut through it. CHP 03 sells going on soon. Possibly if we reject. Seed, what am I trading? Gold, spot gold. Jim, spot gold. Partial off, all good, not a problem. So we're waiting here on gold. Can we actually close above? Let's just wait and find out. We've got under 9 minutes now, 8.5 minutes roughly. Quickly looking at GJ. Won't bother with it, to be honest. Now this is one that we may pick up, the DAX. I did look at it for a little bit last year without actually trading it. Just got to figure out the way I want to go about it personally. I don't think 10 pips is going to be worth it when trading this beast of an indice. So I'll look into it a little bit. Might be targeting $10 as a first TP type of thing, $10 movement. Something I'm going to look into. I'm going to have a look at what the volume generally is on most of these candles to determine what my stop loss will likely be most of the time, roughly. And therefore, I can, you know, work out what sort of margin I need and what my targets will be. So it's something I will do so in time. It's not something I'll just pick up in you know, a day or something. But it's something that we may move forward. We might start looking at more often. All right, gold pushing. Trading market was looking for sales once price was at H4 resistance, and it has 15-minute engulfing. Is it was valid? So you mean, is it valid? If it presents, potentially, but you just got to have the margin to the downside. So for me, it's still best at this rate below 33.25 for the sells, but there potentially could be an option higher up if it does consolidate a bit, form support, and then pop below. But if you're asking, is it valid just here based off that candle, which technically isn't engulfing, I would say no. I would not take that trade because you've been in a very strong push to the upside. So off the back of one bearish candle, for me, it's not a strong enough confirmation, especially off the 15. If it was the 30 and you had maybe a 15-minute pause within it, minus support, and you're closing below support, for instance, then different story. I would consider that to be a valid entry. But a few things as well. It did not actually tap into the 4-hour resistance. So that would have been my concern. If you were looking at it there, would have been put off, definitely put off by that, because I would have known that this could have just be potentially a little bit of a pullback to create that high low to head back up. That would have been a concern. And again, the fact it wasn't even engulfing, it was just a 15. So there's a few concerns there as to why I would definitely not consider that a valid entry for me. Nigu Ilo. Gold. This is, yeah, spot gold. Partial off. Right, thank you very much for all these stickers. Do appreciate it. Wow. I think that's the most I've ever got. That's probably more than what I've ever got altogether. Crazy. Thank you, mate. Nigu, thank you as well. So we're just chilling for the time being, guys. There is not a great deal we can do at the minute other than answer questions if anyone has any. More than happy to check out things, more than happy to give you my opinion of things, more than happy to educate if you do have any questions in regards to the way I do things. Partial off, mate. You are a absolute star. Thank you, thank you. Do appreciate. So rejecting the 4-hour resistance, we have tapped into it just now, guys. So again, this is why I was hesitant to buy it into it. And let's just see if we do get some rejection. What I am liking is we are triggering sellers at the resistance here. So even if London open, let's just say there's no option to buy it, for instance, just now. If this closed weak bearish and then the first 15 closes bullish above, that would be, in my opinion, a really, really strong catalyst to suggest that rates to continue up again. While weak on the next 15, price tap into the zone, and there's a potential entry based off that valid entry. If we do still remain below and begin to reject, then it's a matter of this support. If we close near the low, we could have a valid entry. The preference would be for it to close below though. It's always the preference, but we will consider it even if it does not quite close below, but it closes a strong bearish candle. There's rules for that as well. Once again, partial off, thank you, appreciate it. Can you mark up GU, original vids? I can have a look at GU. It's a markup from yesterday, so just remove that.
Good morning, Justin.
Hey mate, how are you?
Yeah, thank you. I'm fine with you.
All good. Yeah, all good, mate. All good, thank you.
I sent also a chart to the Discord.
GU? Okay. Yep.
So yesterday I was a little bit more bearish. Today I'm a little bit more bullish on GU.
Yep. So looks like it's continuing to the upside. Not a great deal of volume. The current weekly candle, pretty quiet one. The current weekly, but yep. So you're looking for pullback buys or above the 4-hour resistance by the looks of it. So let's quickly look at it here. Sort of weekly again with the back of the previous strong bullish. Not a great deal of volume though. The current weekly, I'll be marking in the low of it and seeing what's below it if we do reject. So obviously that's the previous daily low. Daily's bullish in structure. Got some resistance here to the left. I'm not sure if I've got that level on the 4-hour. I don't know if I've got the data to go back that. I will just do. So we're at a resistance right now here on GU. So you want to be above that point. Let's just mark it in. All right, now I want to, again, I'm just going to remove it and adjust it across to the current level. Got support at the previous daily low, so definitely be interested in sales below it. Again, the weekly, if it breaks its own low and the support formed at its own low, there's a higher probability at that point we'll make a deeper pullback. What sort of catalyst will we have in a 30? Well, the 30 will be bearish by then. So that's one thing. The 30 will flip bearish, technically below this whole swing point. Let's just quickly look at it on the 15. All right, so I'd be preferencing buys on GU as long as we remain above 137.220 roughly. So be waiting for price to pull back to that level, form support, and look for buys. Otherwise, I would consider the sells below that support. Wait for a closure below, retest, and price push away from that point. At that point there, 30-minute structure would have confirmed a flip to the downside. And otherwise, closures above look pretty good. Sorry, gold. Just want to keep an eye on gold. It is session open. Sorry to quickly abruptly end. Abruptly. That sounds good, doesn't it? Sorry to abruptly end my analysis on GU. Alright, gold. So there's no 5-minute support or nothing as well. So to me, there is no real valid entry, even on the slightly riskier side of things. So we'll just wait. So GU would prefer to buys. I mean, you might. Is there margin below support for a cheeky rejection sell? No. Yeah, so I'd be preferencing to buy upon the pullback, sells below that support, and that's about it. If it does pop straight up and reject the 4-hour resistance, trade the 4-hour range and look to sell it. Let's quickly look at GJ, see how it, yeah, just shit. I cannot remember the last time GJ looked good when we're on stream. It has been absolutely terrible. M. Herbert, what's your opinion on a sell limit GJ at 197.778? 778. Somewhere around here. Look, if I was to look for sell limits, and I wouldn't just place a sell limit random, or not as random, it's at a resistance, but I wouldn't just place a sell limit when price is fair distance away. Rather see our price reacts to that level in case we are approaching with momentum and we continue to push through it, creating, you know, for instance, nice structure, high lows, high highs. I'd be concerned it could just continue. I would, though, if it were me, I would prefer to hone in on the 4-hour resistance, and that to me starts at just below that, just above that level you mentioned. So 197.797, and it just depends on a broker. Maybe on your broker they used to start the 4-hour, the level you've mentioned, 778. So that's what I would do. If I was to look for a limit order, I would consider that. Generally speaking, what I do if I'm looking for limit orders at a zone, again, I still want to see how price approaches, but I'll be usually looking for around the 50% of 4-hour zone, because a lot of the time price tends to tap into that level. Partial off, hell yeah, happy to help. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you once again. Original vids, all good. Yeah, so sorry I sort of cut it off quickly, but just realized it was session open. So not sure, guys, but for me, I'm not sure about you guys, but it's been difficult to find really quality entries off late during the London session. For the most part, things have been very, very tricky. Not much volume of late. It could be because of the summertime, summer holidays over in the UK, not in Melbourne, obviously. AH.
For me, it's the same. So it's very difficult to find some quality entries.
Yeah, has been extremely tricky of late.
1 to 2 trades a week or so, so not that much.
Yeah.
But you need at the end stay with that, and I'm looking for.
Yeah, for when things turn again. It will, definitely will. Yeah, for the most part for me, they've been anywhere between about 4 and 6 trades a week for the last month or so. BTC, so this level from yesterday, an important level. I still believe it's very bullish though in regards to the higher time frame side of things, as long as we really remain above 100k. Every time it gets pushed back down towards that 100k, it's bought up very, very quickly. As far as the short-term picture, I mean, if we remain above 106.40, this level here, I feel there's a high probability we're going to head back up to potentially retest the all-time high at some point. We, in fact, begin to pop below that support though, and next level that I would be targeting is 104.80, and there is some pretty strong support at that point there as well, lines up with some previous consolidation and resistance to the left-hand side. Be marking that as resistance. Let's just quickly do the top down. All right, so weekly strong bullish, daily structure wise, I would argue it's technically still bearish as long as it remains below this wick, but has been a big strong V-shaped pullback. A lot of momentum to the upside. Are we just pulling back to form support yet again, head back up? Counter probabilities are to the downside here on the daily though. So having said that, so we have a lower high, lower low. Not much need for us to pull back up and break our own high. If we do so, perhaps we're going to respect the support and continue bullish to test up to that 108.80 sort of region again. 4-hour is bullish in structure and will remain bullish really so long as it remains above this support. So For me, I would prefer the buys. Marking this level of resistance. So the 4-hour flip bearish below this support as well. So there's your catalyst to sell it. Like I mentioned before, you're gonna have flip instruction of 4-hour. It looks pretty clean in the daily below that point there as well. Onto the 30, and I would consider this to be technically bearish in structure. So for me, if I was to trade Bitcoin, it's a tough one in the minute, to be honest. Consolidation, nice strong closure out of it. You could be looking for buys. That could be early buys, stop off loss back below support here. Otherwise, to me, it looks cleaner. I'd actually adjust this now. Up 107,950. You got some clean traffic to the left. You would have confirmed the structure flip on a 30 as well. So that's the preferable area to buy it. Otherwise, if it does pull back, I need to reject. I would consider some options to sell it. Back to the goal. Let's just keep an eye on it. Very slow. London Open, very, very slow. Absolutely no volume whatsoever. Rasim Simi, you buying? Not yet. No, I need a strong closure here. Bullish engulfing up near the high, preferably above the resistance. Senior quarter trade gold at 32.98, close to 33.30. Nice one. Thank you to the new followers. Appreciate it. Thanks, Key. Appreciate knowledge that you give out for free. Appreciate it, mate. Glad to have your support on the stream. It can be, I know it can be difficult at times if you're not the type that's going to take just, 5 trades a stream and fabricate an entry of the 1 minute or whatever. But I do definitely help when it comes to patience and discipline. Saw a cracking entry yesterday and I missed it by a split second. Was hoping some of the members took it on gold. So I know if I'm patient enough to wait for my entry to present, there's going to be a very high probability it'll be a winning trade. I just need to be on charts for it. That was here, literally there. Was it there? No, it was early in that actually. That was last week. What am I talking about? Sorry guys, where was it? Monday the 30th. It was here. Yeah, it was here. Sorry, it was here, guys. Not seeing things. I'm not sure if that is correct. I just can't find it. It may have been GJ. I can't remember, to be honest. There was one decent entry though, and I missed it by a split second. Alright, just over 5 minutes remaining, guys. Let's see what his counter closes. So remembering we are at a 4-hour resistance just now. It's much cleaner above it. So we want this counter to engulf, and then we may be able to look for an entry even on the impulse above the high of the resistance. Phil, good morning to you, mate. Hope you're well. Been a while. a little bit of uncertainty about as well, guys. Maybe why the charts are a little bit slow at the minute. We've got NFP, ADP, NFP to come in the next 2 days. We've also got the trade agreement. I think there's some sort of deadline approaching as well. Looks like the markets are pretty happy with what is being discussed and the potential outcome of that. I've heard that could be a blanket 10% tariff across the board for most countries, which I feel the markets are maybe pricing in at the minute. You've got, you know, NAS at just below its all-time high. S&P created an all-time high again. You've got DAX also. A lot of these indices are pumping up near their all-time highs, if not creating all-time highs. So the back of that, gold is also moving though off the back of that. So let's see, guys, just over 3 minutes, could we be looking for buys? So at this rate, we need to determine what the highest point of this resistance is on our broker's chart if we are to look for any sort of impulse entry. Let me just quickly check what that is. All right. So on my chart, the high is 33, 36, 45. So 33, 36, 65 could be a potential impulse entry on the following candle. A little bit of some rules we need to tick off prior to that though. We are approaching that level. We could even break it. All right, stop loss. Yeah, it's pretty stocks down in gold these days. You're looking around probably about 60 pip stop. All right, so it is about to break that level. Interesting. 2 minutes, guys. We could be looking for some buys here on the gold. Now, the options will be the breakout trade if it doesn't break just now, and it is to close up near the high. The second option would be the limit order on the interruption play. We've had nice strong bullish move just here. Nice strong candle, a little bit of a pause, and we are engulfing this candle significantly. That is likely going to be my preferred entry because you're going to get a bit of stop loss based off that. You're buying it at a slight discount. But the other option is also, if it closes above, just look for the next candle to tap in and begin to push away. So they're your options now, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place a limit order at the high of that bearish candle, 33, 32, 29. $33, 32, 20. That can't be correct. $33, 34, 53. And it has to close at least about 12 pips above for that to be valid. The other entry will be on the buy stop. At this rate, we need a low wick, and then you could be looking at some buys above the current candle's high. So the high is 33, 37, 23. So 33, 37, 43 is a potential entry point. We need a low wick. So your entries are either one of two things: the limit order buy at the high of that previous bearish candle, stop loss back below 15. Can't break the high though. We need a low wick irrespective. Before looking to buy stop the high, we need a low wick. If we get the low wick, your next potential entry is 33, 37, 43. That's on my broker's chart. It needs to create low wick. Still don't have it. All right, that's better. Stop loss roughly in the same spot. All right, so there are your two options, guys. Option one is the pullback. Second option is the continuation buy. So let me just label it. All right, so buy stops in. All right, so option one is off now. I'm not going to take that trade. And we are pumping, guys. All right, you've got 10 pips. Stop loss, you could move to entry. And you could begin to secure. All right, I've secured half at 12. And there we go, quick and easy. Stop loss is now at entry. And I'm gonna let the rest run. Your target will be 33.43 if it doesn't come back to entry. But that would be a realistic target. You got about 12 pips on the table, 13 pips on the table. Yep, so well done. Quick and easy.
Yeah, man.
Just how we like it.
Quick and dirty, easy.
Yep. Nice setup though. Nice valid setup. Nice strong catalyst. And yeah, made the move. Great little. I like the fact that it popped up before creating its lower wick. So the fact that it popped up and begun to reject, if it was to continue bearish, no need to break its own high. If it does break its own high, pull away from this resistance here to the left, there's a high probability it'll give us enough to get to TP1. So that's what it's done. Safely at break even. And job done. Nice one, guys. Great start to the new month. And we're rolling at about 13 pip profit at the moment. All right. Marvy. Great to hear it, mate. Well done. Let's go, guys. Anyone else? Shouldn't put B at 33.40. Just depends how you go about things, mate. I always manage my trades in drawdown if they go against me. I'm not greedy. I have plans for take profit. I have plans for when price goes against me. So I like to keep my losses small. And it looks like it could get taken out on the runner. Still in, just. Yeah, I'm out. There goes the runner. So it's a quick win, but all good. Safely secured some profit and good start to a new month. Just got to post the chart for my team. Let me just do that quickly. And I'll get back to you guys shortly. There's no way I would have let it go to full stop loss. There's ways to manage that. If it did flip and break its own low, I would have definitely considered cutting half. All right, let's look at GJ coming back. This is better. This is good. This is what we want to see. We want to see a bit of volume, a bit of momentum. Now, you've got some nice entry points here on GJ now, moving forward. You've got an option to either sell it if it does pop back up to 197.50, psychological round number. If it does reject, you can look for sells below. It also becomes a good level to look for buys above. Made a clean move down. If price was to approach and close above that point with a bit of volume, we're bouncing off 4 hour support here to the left. That to me is much better. This is what we want to see. So GJ is starting to look a lot better than what it did about 15 minutes to half an hour ago. Original vids, silver. Wow. Wow, how's that for a gladiator count on that pump? Yeah, so silver, similar to gold, nice clean move. Similar entry too, but it looks at things. Now I'll just be waiting to see how price reacts to the resistance up ahead. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, it is approaching a 4-hour level here, so it needs to be a little bit wary of that. Nice clean breakout though. Wow. Yeah, it's bullish here on a 30 as well. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be bullish on pretty much all the time frames. 4 hours bullish. Weekly, yeah, week bullish. Daily structure is definitely bullish. Counter probability is also bullish. Approaching resistance, so if you're not in it, I'd be waiting for it to potentially pull back to retest the previous level. It's just broken, and wait for support to form. But you guys should know my thoughts of silver now, those who watch me on the regular. The opportunity of a lifetime, basically, when it comes to precious metals. Alright, so gold struggling to remain above this resistance. Let's see, because you could even have another re-entry potentially on a 30 here. Let's just remove that now. So the 30, what it will come down to is you could have a limit order present here on a 30. It would need to close at minimum of about 12 off late. The general rule that I've got in my course, in my set of rules, is 10 pips plus. But with the amount of volume of late, kind of want it to stretch it out a bit to 12 to 15. So I would say about 12 to 15 pips above for the limit order to be valid. So what's the high? 33, 36, 53. So you're looking at 33, 37, 73 roughly as to where price must close above to validate a potential limit order buy on the following candle. And otherwise, again, you could look for potentially a continuation buy. What we need to do is determine whether we've got the margin or not. We still do, but what we also need to consider is what the stop loss will be. So 15-minute rejecting just now, so I think a very well managed quick win there on gold. And if we remain below the resistance, may have just grabbed liquidity from the upside, we'll potentially be looking at some sell still below 33.25, that sort of region. Okay, Carl. Nice one. Just my ski. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Busy GM selling? Not at the moment, no. No, just took a quick scalp buy for some for not a big profit, but it was a profit. Waiting to see if it resets for a buy, or if we could get some sell options moving forward, but nothing at the minute. TikTok, guys, if you could, please make sure to smash that screen. Only 660 likes at the minute. That's better. Original vids, can you please explain quick regarding silver, please, if you could? Yeah, not a problem. Let's look at it. Top-down analysis, if you want me to take a look at that. All right, so the weekly, I know it's closed below the actual open of that candle to the left. I'm talking about the previous one. Still closed back bullish. I would say it's weak bullish. The current candle, irrespective, what we can see is create a significant low wick and is forming quite a strong bullish candle. The daily structure is definitely bullish as long as we really remain above this wick. We've got the impulse to the upside. That was originally the highest point. We created a new high just here. So Therefore, that shift the level to where the structural flip bearish below this support with wick below it, but we're respected at wick below it twice now. Did so yesterday as well. We've bounced at that level, so we need to close below to confirm a structural flip here on a daily. So therefore we are bullish. Not only that, we've got candle probabilities to the upside. So we've bounced off support and the current candle as a high, low, high, high. So off the back of that, the options for me would be to either look for continuation buys above the current daily high, or pull back buys within the current daily to a previous level of support / resistance. Target would be the resistance here at 36.65.20 roughly to the left, where you could potentially, if you were to trade the range, consider looking for some sell options against the bias and structure and all that. 4 hour it's obviously flip bearish, flip back bullish here. So the 4 hours also bullish in structure. Let's just focus on the most recent support, which is that point there. Let's mark in the most recent resistance, which we've just broken, which is that point there. Let's also now mark in the level to the upside. So no, we're bullish on the 4 hour. We're definitely bullish on the 30. So it's bullish across the board. So for me, what I would be looking for is I'd be adding that level just now. And what I would prefer to do with buy it, at the moment, I wouldn't be chasing the buys. If you're not in it, I'd rather wait for it to pull back, create the high low, potentially retest that previous resistance and form support above it for a buy. And as long as it remains above the level where the structure will be still bullish in a 30, at this point above 36.05, and I would also look for buys. However, that will become at this point, unless price pulls up further into the 4 hour resistance, if we pop below that support here at 36.05, that becomes the entry point for a sell. Got clean traffic to the left, you're flipping a 30-minute structure, high probabilities coming back down to 35.850, that sort of level. So that's what I'd be looking at. Now, otherwise, if price does pop up further into the resistance and tap in, you could look to trade the range. It has respected it multiple times here. So if it did so yet again, I'd be looking for a price action catalyst to sell it back down, where you could possibly take some buys from lower down as well. So that's my personal opinion of it. But you know what I think of it as far as the long-term thing. I'm extremely bullish on silver. All right, let's keep an eye on gold. We're struggling up near the high of the resistance. See if there is a possible re-entry. For it to be a really strong confirmation, we want that strong closure above just now. The 15-minute is rejecting at the minute. So I really want this to close strong. Again, the preference would be above that horizontal, and that could present a limit order, a buy for us. Or if nothing else, the pullback, low wick, and then the buy above the high. Looking at it on the 5-minute, 30 is about to close. Within the 5-minute, we've had the closure above, we've had the break, we've had the retest, and now we're pulling away. So could almost look for some re-entries now on gold. We want to close strong here. So your re-entry would be, at this point, I would rather upon a continuation. And you don't necessarily need the low wick on the following candle. So once again, you're looking about 2 pips above the high of whatever this candle is. I can't even... Once you've taken a trade on your MetaTrader, it's hard for... It doesn't show up again. It's a pain in the ass, to be honest. It's useless. Language. Yeah, so you're looking roughly 2 pips above the high of this candle. So you need a lower wick, guys. Needs a lower wick. It's broken the high. Needs to pop back down. Create a bit of a low wick. And then you could potentially look at a buy at 69. 33, 39, 69. Needs a bit more of a lower wick though. It's got it on my MetaTrader, hasn't got it here. I would prefer a bit more of a lower wick. So I'm not seeing the order. I'm waiting for it to pull back. If it does pull back, create just a decent low wick. It doesn't have to necessarily pull back to that resistance. because we've done that within our catalyst candle. Now, it is a rule I have to wait for the lower wick to form, the wick to form the opposite direction to the trade. It may not do that though. This is one of those times where there is a chance it won't, because we've done it within the catalyst 30-minute candle here. Doesn't look like it's going to do it, guys. So not writing off just yet, but either way, need to wait for it to create a bit of a low wick, and if it does so, I could buy stop the high of the current candle. Potentially doing it. All right, looks like it may. All right, wow, nice. So 3340.04 is a potential entry. And you could, if you really want to use a tight stop, you could use the entry candle. So for those who still looking at gold, you got a potential re-entry. And if it does pull back to tap in, all good. Because it's even stronger. If we continue to reject or remain above this resistance, there's a high probability that price will continue bullish. So you should not be in just yet. What have I missed? Busy Jan? I mean, I'm shorting, sorry. All good. State? No, I agree, not enough confirmation. John, that was fun. I think bro will go to 33.43, 33.60. Yeah, I mean, 43 is a good level. And then I'll be looking at 48. Busy Jan, I think it should pull back 33, 33, 88. Yeah, I mean, could be careful using the term should, because it could really do anything. It doesn't have to do anything. Could do anything, and doesn't have to do anything, if that makes sense. It there's the wording, sorry. Because if you look, thinking in that regard, that it should pull back, or, you know, it has to pull back first to this level and so, then you're kind of fixated on that, I suppose, and also you're emotionally tied to that being an entry, I suppose, as well. I'd rather be more fluid in the markets. That's probably, yeah. Think of it in terms of probability. Again, doesn't make that big a deal, to be honest. So let's see if gold respects this level. Herbert 14. Entry point 33.39. Sorry, 33.40.04. That's what, yep, 33.40.04. Do I have it correct here? Two pips above the current candle's high. And this is the reason why I must have a wick in the opposite direction, because a lot of time, 95+ percent of these candles, if you were to look through the left you'd say the 15-minute time frame up would have wicks in either direction. So therefore, yes, the few percent of the time it's going to go without me. I'm not going to be in the trade. But for the most part, what it's going to do is pull back to create that wick in the opposite direction. At that point, I've spared myself drawdown. And if seeing we have tapped back into that resistance, if it was to bounce and pull away from that zone again, and break its own high, in my opinion, with the clean traffic to the left, there's a high probability we're coming up to 43, 43. Back of that, I would be definitely keen on buying it. If it does, however, draw close to the closure of the M15, and we're still very bearish, then I probably need to wait yet again. So then it would come down to the strength of the candle itself, and I can use the fib to determine whether or not it's a strong or weak bearish closure, and whether I want to keep the buy stop in or maybe wait another 15 minutes for a stronger confirmation such as the closure above. So at this rate, the way we are pulling back, struggling here to the upside, so we may soon remove the buy stop and just wait. Carlep, not usually a scalper, but I see the attraction. I thought you were, mate, but all good. Been on the stream since the beginning. All good. Displaying ski just man because of you. I already become profitable in just 3 to 4 months. All good, mate. It isn't just me, it's you, because you've got to put it into practice. So what you learn, you're the ones who have to pull the trigger and put it into practice. So, you know, kudos to you, mate. You need to take credit where credit is due, and that's for sure. That off the back of you can learn, you know, a few things from watching the stream, but at the end of the day, you're the one who has to execute. So well done. All right, we're likely going to remove the order shortly. So just goes to show, having that one strict rule where I want it to form the opposite direction to any trade has spared me a loss. Would have definitely have closed the whole thing by now had I jumped in without creating that lower wick. Original Vince, massive retest on silver. Wow, it's already back at that level. Is there some news about? Let's quickly have a look. Right, nuclear sites have suffered serious damage. So nothing major here. All right, so we're going to remove the gold order. It's pulling back too far. Stop loss is going to end up being more than 50 pips at the back of the entry candle. Not ideal. So I'm just going to need to wait. And it's also a good chance it's going to close strong bearish because it's grabbed liquidity from the upside. It has got the higher high. It's now broken a low. So at the back of that's likely grab some liquidity from the upside to maybe perhaps close back below the resistance here. So we'll just wait to see what his candle closes. And we'll reassess on the closure in just around 6 minutes. Original Vince. Wow, US oil. So I'm assuming it's just pretty much the same as US oil here, so. What about the majors? And the majors tanking? No. Still quite bullish on the majors. What do you guys think? We'll put it to a bit of a vote here, guys. What as another potential pair to pick up on the stream that we should look at potentially trading. What do you guys reckon? You reckon we should pick up on an indice, maybe the DAX? Do you reckon we should pick up on another currency pair? I'd prefer a cross rather than a major because the crosses tend to move with a little bit more volume. Not so fond about on the crypto, to be honest. Let's stay away from crypto. NAS, yeah. The only issue is I'd rather trade an indice that's in session. NAS isn't not in session at the minute. So I reckon it's going to be either currency pair or the DAX. FTSE, US oil, I'm not really convinced about this time of day as well. I mean, that made a really nice move up and down though. M Herbert, good levels to buy silver for long. Yeah, potentially. I'd be focused on 36.10, 36.05. What about YouTube? What do you guys reckon? Dollar Swiss? Yeah, again, that's a bit slow. And GU, Franco.
Yeah, I know.
It's just not, it's not me. It's too, I'll never get entry if I try those pairs. I mean, I would, but yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
For the most part, I have like an 8 pip target with 6 pip stop loss or something, and
I know it.
I know what's gonna happen with the audience. What, you're targeting 6 pips? Your stop loss is 4 pips?
Yeah.
How do you make money?
Yeah.
I'd never hit the end of it, so let's maybe stay away from GU, EU, and AU and those pairs. So far, just one vote other than GU and Dollar Swiss, which again, Dollar Swiss, it's not a bad pair, but it is quite a slower moving pair. Wow, this is absolutely tanking. Sorry, mate?
Yeah. I don't know, Dex is not really bad because it's moving very quick.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can have some gains from it. Yeah, would not be bad, Dex.
Yeah, Dax could be the one. It's the early favorite. Yeah, I think it's one needs to watch a little bit, test out a little bit. Maybe even not even worry about GJ much at all moving forward. I've not traded much at all this year.
Will you do some NY session today?
Pre-NY, yeah, I'll be on. You guys, so.
I need to step out for a moment.
No worries, mate. X-Joker, Forex, thank you for the sticker. M Herbert, gold down just to sweep liquidity and then go back up to 33.50. Well, in the next minute and 45 seconds, if this thing closes weak bearish, we could have buys still on the table, guys. So it has to close now above the 0.382. And that would, for me, validate an entry on impulse as price breaks this bearish candle's high. That would suggest to me it's a weak closure, a weak pause, and we'll close back above the resistance. So we will consider it. Above the 50 is valid, above the 0.382 is, in my opinion, really high probability entry. So let's mark in the 50 and we can be picky with it. So in the next minute, we've got just under a minute. We want it to close preferably above the 0.382. Well, that would have suggested to me is, and look at that, we've tapped into the interruption, guys. Wow. That eventually would have worked. But what this would suggest to me is we grab liquidity from the downside. If we close back up near our high, weak bearish, there's a high probability on the following candle, if we were to begin to break the high, that we could make the move to the upside. So let's keep an eye on it, guys. High, so you'd be looking at the same entries before, 33.40.04. Looking pretty good. Carl, or GJ now. Today's easy sells in EJ, okay. Alright, so lower wick and buys above the high are valid. Let's see. See if we get the lower wick. Nice, alright, let's got it. Buys are valid again, guys. Same thing here. We don't want to pull back too far because then the stop loss is going to start to become a really wide one. But you got the closure above those levels. Up to 0.382, more importantly. Why is it not loading? All right, better. So let's see. Farah, yeah, buys are back on the table. Herbert, no, market execute, not market execute, buy stop. So above the current candle's high, the previous candle's high, sorry. So 0.4. 33.40, 0.4. See, for Rec 94, this is Forex, or technically gold trading, spot gold, precious metals trading, but it's a Forex stream. Tenor gold, Tenor looks like he's aiming for previous highs for TP. I'd be aiming for the resistance here at 43. Stop will be below the current candle's low, basically, so you can just adjust that now. Difficult to manage when your stop is quite a narrow one. Let's have into the music.
Hi, Jason.
Hi mate, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
All good, brother, all good.
Been a while.
Yeah, it has been. Has been a while. Hope all is well. By the way, guys, that's the overall target, 33.48. How's it been going?
I'm good.
All good? Nice one. What are you looking?
I haven't had time on the chats lately, so
Yeah.
I'm just playing once in a while. So
Fair enough, mate. It was nonetheless good to hear from you.
yeah, I've been very occupied with some other stuff. So
Yeah. It's been tricky the past few weeks. I mean, June started off with a bang and it ended tough, but it ended up being still a profitable month, which is the main thing. Good start to today, and we'll see if we can get another entry potentially.
okay. And you've had anything today?
We took one by just around here for a quick
I think
TP1.
I saw that when I just came on the stream.
Yeah. Now looking at potential re-entries now. Above the resistance here, weak pause above it. Let's see, clean traffic to the left.
Yeah.
30's closed strong above.
I think it would be amazing if this current 30 close is like weak bearish.
Yeah, that could also present. I mean, we'll see. I'd rather it start to move soon. But that's the other thing to consider, guys. If it draws to the last 5 minutes or so of the 30, then you need to just remove it and wait for the 30 to close and potential entry on the next M30. So we've got just under 10 minutes, so a bit of a wait.
Yeah, I took a trade earlier.
Yep.
Still the runner is there. I think the runner now hit full CP, I think, on the EJ.
EJ?
Yeah, full
Oh, wow.
CP has been hit now. Took it
Wow.
on early,
That thing is melting.
so like an interruption entry.
Oh, okay. The
Yeah.
little pause, you mean? Yep.
Yeah, right there.
Nice one.
It was a little tricky because of these rejections to the left, but again,
Yep.
if it was not to continue moving down, it shouldn't have broken that low after creating this resistance here. So
Oh, nice one, man.
Yeah.
Good work. Dowie, see Dowie, what's your next trade? Potentially above 33.40.04. Got a buy stop at the minute. Want it to happen in the next 3 to 4, 5 minutes roughly. Don't want it to trigger in the last couple minutes of the M30/hourly. At that point, I'm best just to wait for the hourly closure if that's the case, in the 30 closure, obviously. Wally, by now you get rich quick. MO's Pepperstone good. Yeah, reputable. Not sure about spreads. I think they're okay. But definitely a reputable broker. I think your money's pretty safe on Pepperstone. Looking to buy at 33.30. No, I'm looking to buy 33.40 basically. Wally dubs on my reaction points got ignored on the way up. I like how price is bleeding back deeper. Yep, fair enough. Augustus was TP. Again, I look for small movements because I always manage trades in drawdown as well. So wherever I see fit, as long as it pumps to more than 10 pips. So on the early one, I secured some at 12 in the first trade. So it's generally anywhere between 10 and 20 for the most part. You got a realistic target, first target here at around 43. So let's see, it's pushing. Once again, we want it to trigger in shortly. And tough one again to manage, seeing a stop loss is based off the entry candle. The only real way to manage it is if it flips back bearish. Has no need to. Seeing we've bounced off the support and we're breaking the high of the previous candle once you are triggered in. And it has to happen in the next 2 or so minutes. Otherwise, the issue and the concern for me will be the fact that the hourly, I don't want to get triggered in and then the hourly's got a couple minutes left to print and it's going to likely leave an upper wick, and within that few minutes it pulls back and you get stuck in drawdown. New candle opens up, creates a slow wick, takes a stop loss out, and then maybe continues bullish or maybe drops down. So I'm not prepared to take that risk, not prepared to hold into the drawdown and widen my stop loss as well. So that's why I wanted to present very quickly. I want it to happen quick smart. Otherwise, I'm just going to wait for the hourly closure. So what's the support line? This is previous resistance here to the left that we're bouncing back above. So let's see. It's not that far off. Alright, it has to really trigger us in the next minute or so though. Coming down to the last 5 minutes of the hourly. Stop loss, I mean, it's up to you guys whether you agree with this entry. Don't just take it because I'm taking it. Stop loss is below the entry candle. So close to being triggered in, not quite. Green light did light up. God, it better happen very, very quickly. Otherwise, I'm going to remove it because of the fact that it's coming close to the hourly closure. Well, looks like I may be removing it, guys. We've got just under 4 minutes left. We're not triggered in. So now we've got to consider the fact that the hourlies had 56 minutes to print it's likely going to leave some sort of upper wick. If you're not in the trade now, the concern will be that it pulls back to leave that upper wick and you're stuck in drawdown. So with 3.5 minutes remaining, I'm going to remove the order. And I'm going to wait. Going to wait for this count to close. Now, we still could have the exact same entry point. So let's change this to waiting on the hourly closure. Let's see, if it pops up now, the next potential option is the limit order. So we're gonna wait just under 3 minutes. Definitely not interested in taking it with a couple minutes left of the hourly. Does the broker have DMA? DMA? DMA. Excuse my ignorance, I'm not too sure what you mean by it. Leon 3250, end of the week. So you're predicting it will go down? I was so close to being triggered in there. Had the green line flash for a moment. Paul, you oil. Carl, what's your DAX? I'm not sure about oil. Look, we'll consider it. So once again, within the hourly, we've had the pullback, we've had the retest, and we're pushing away. I'm not going to look for a limit order. I'm going to look for the continuation buy. Need a decent lower wick on the new hourly. Doesn't need to retest necessarily because we've already done that. We need a decent lower wick, and then the entry will be valid at the exact same level of 33.40.04. Let's see, a minute and a half remaining on this candle. Sean, direct market access. No idea. I don't know, to be honest. Excuse my ignorance. Alright, so I'm watching to see what the highest point of this current candle is, because if it creates a higher high, the entry's got to be a little bit higher. So it actually has. The entry's going to be 08 for me anyway. Alright, so far that is the highest point. So you're looking at potentially 33.40.08. We need a low wick on the new hourly candle. So I'm very happy I removed that, because it probably would have just been triggered in with 30 seconds left. I think we create a high just here. Alright. We need to leave an upper wick. That's another thing, guys. Still the same level. Alright, 08. So 33.40.08, we need a low wick on the new hourly candle. Then we have a valid entry. Alright, closure. Trade is valid. Trade is valid. And it could be in. Well, I had about 8 pips on the table. All right. So it quickly pushed about 8 for profit and then it dropped back pretty quickly. Here we go, guys. Oh. Once again, about 7 pips on the table. Yeah. I might close this, guys. I'm going to close it. I closed it out. Reason being is because I feel it could still pull back to create more of a lower wick. I would have wanted that to make the move, to be honest. Not as comfortable because it doesn't really have much of a lower wick. It could pull back a bit further. So I closed out basically at break even. I think it was in maybe a pip or two profit. I gotta, let me see. Closure. Minus 3 pips. And it could pump now. Alright, all good. Looks like it wants to make the move now. Maybe a little bit, I don't know, maybe a little bit quick to manage it. But the fact that the alley, I would have wanted it to pop straight up then. Because what we've done is we've created a lower wick and we've popped up, create the high, then we've pulled back again. So I don't feel we necessarily need to continue to pull back. So it's alright. Basically a break even on that one. Mohammed, that is my concern. We still could potentially, seeing it's the new alley, there is a chance that it could make more of a lower wick. So but yeah, so the day ends in a profit off the back of the first win. Oh man, looks like it's going to pump. All good. GJ making a bit of a move. Yeah, there it goes. All good. Hopefully some of you have kept it open. Choices we make, have to stick by them. So all good. Again, still ends in a profit, so not a bad stream. Target would be 43. The resistance here to the left, around that 43 level, plus the level a little bit higher up, around that 48 sort of region. But yeah, well done to anyone who is in it. What I'd be doing now is managing stop loss to break even and securing some profit. So that was my re-entry. Pretty much one win and basically a break even. It was a tiny loss, and that's it. But well done anyone who is currently running this gold trade, and you're looking pretty good. Alrighty guys, I'm going to get going. Again, well done. Target 43. GJ, you're breaking the support just now, so bit of a strong sell-off at the minute. I'd be waiting for it to trigger in some buyers, potentially retest, reject, form some support below the current 4-hour support, and then look for entries as price begins to pull away from the support. Otherwise, further gold entries at the moment, you'd be really now just wanting to pull back, form support above the previous resistance. And for me, very bullish. I would not really consider selling it anytime soon. I'd rather just look for buyers, to be honest. Yeah, but otherwise guys, I'll be on tomorrow. Sorry. Same time as always. Yeah mate, go on.
Sorry to interrupt you, man.
No, it's all good.
If you might take a look on GU.
GU?
Right now, so it's, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't know, you have marked here another H4 as I had. Okay, yeah, correct. This is my area. So not looking bad for some buys on GU.
Yeah, if it breaks the high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think GU looks pretty good as well. Nice strong move from the.
We also considered if someone's interested.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good, to be honest. GU. Stop loss back below the resistance. Then traffic to the left. Yeah, I like it.
Thank you.
Nice one, man. All good. Alright guys, take care, have a good one. Trade safe. My team, I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, see you.
Catch you later. And YouTube, TikTok, take care. Once again, trade safe, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow from about an hour and 10 or so before London Open. Till then, trade safe. I'm gone. Bye, guys.